IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashton Doctor, your habit coach, and today's fun fact of the day has to do with coffee. Did you know that Americans drink about 400 million cups of coffee a day? That's every single day. Now, we never really appreciate the size of these daily habits that we have, like tea drinking, coffee drinking, and the amount we consume of these beverages each day. I'm talking about as a population on the whole. Now, these 400 million cups of coffee are spread out over consumption of coffee in office, consumption of coffee at home, and in cafes and shops. Out of these, there are over 24,000 coffee shops across America. And this number seems rather small to me, especially since each shop only averages about 230 cups of coffee a day. That's tiny. Now imagine if I told you that you could be sitting in one of these 24,000 shops, sipping one of these 230 cups with either a Mother Teresa, an Elon Musk, or Nelson Mandela. Imagine what would you give to be able to do that. Spend an hour or two learning about them, about their life, how they think, what made them who they are. Imagine the golden nuggets that we might be able to uncover by just talking to them. You see, our ability to think and perceive the world expands with our experiences. But better yet, we can learn from the experiences of others. And this is why when we hang out with friends, we're constantly learning from their experiences and we're picking up ways to understand the world. Now imagine if you could sit with some of the greatest minds in history, people who've made the biggest impact in the world around us, and just have coffee with them. Inviting them for coffee with you is as simple as picking up their autobiography or biography, reading about their life, where they came from, how their thinking was shaped by which event, and seeing and drawing parallels with our life. Now, if you're not a reader of books, then A, what is the point of your literacy? It's useless. And B, no problem, get the audiobooks. One of my first of these kinds of books that I read was by Richard Feynman, a brilliant Nobel Prize winning scientist. And I picked up his innate curiosity about the world around him. And his brilliant work in physics came from that curiosity. Most recently, I read the biography of Aristotle Onassis, the richest man in the world at one point in time. And he started his shipping business from nothing and grew it to one of the largest private shipping fleets. He wined and dined sheikhs and movie actresses, and he had a private yacht where he would spend a month talking to Winston Churchill. And while reading Onassis' book, of course, I didn't invite him for coffee, but for a glass of wine. And you can, of course, go for a walk with Mahatma Gandhi if you like. The idea is to get into the habit of making a date with these amazing people, just like you would have a date with a friend or a lunch with a family member. I spent most of my life never reading biographies. I thought of them as a waste of time. Why learn about someone else's life when I'm trying so hard to still live my life? But the second I learned that reading these books is like having a conversation with them, I was hooked. The strangest autobiography is that of the Emerald Tablets of Thought, or Hermes. And this was an Egyptian god who came to teach man how to create a civilization. And he wrote about his life's purpose and who he is and where he came from on these slabs of emerald. And in the Emerald Tablets, he talks about building the pyramids. Now, this is all very interesting stuff. And yes, I read very strange and interesting different kinds of books. But that is also, in essence, a form of autobiography, if you will, from 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago. So your super simple habit starts by identifying 3 of your heroes, 3 people you would love to take to dinner or a coffee, and then buy their autobiography or biography. And every day, set up a time for a date with them. What would you give to have lunch with Elon Musk? Usually in a podcast, it's me who speaks to you and you who listens. But I've been seeing your comments and it's time. It's me listening to you. Following the overwhelming success of this podcast, the good folks at IVM Podcast Network have decided to come up with a Kannada adaptation of the show for those who prefer listening to it in that language. Do make sure you let your Kannada speaking friends know about this as well. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashton Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcasts Network. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik talks to Svetlana Naudial, Programming Director Asia Movie, about how movie curates access to world cinema. Introducing our new show, Capgemini's Techipedia series with Sheeladitya M. In the first episode, we meet Nishit Srivastav, Chief Technology and Innovation Officer at Capgemini India. He tells us all about the metaverse's impact on different domains. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam explores stock market trends with Prabhakar Tiwari, Chief Growth Officer at Angel One. On All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk discuss how the latest events in Sri Lanka impact India. On The Habit Coach, Ashton shares 3 steps to shake off a slump. And on Say No to Drama, Chetna explains how we can protect ourselves from energy suckers. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcasts has just launched its merch, and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcasts website and click on the Shop tab to check out our first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Don't forget to rate us on any platforms you're listening on. You can also check us out on YouTube. We are also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and advertising on the network. We would really appreciate if you could spare a few minutes to fill it. It helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance and Jupiter, a digital banking app.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.